Hey guys, welcome back to another Journal with Me video. This is my sentence a day journal. If you want to know more about my sentence a day journal, I'll link a video all about it in the lower bar. I did my first video like this last month, and as you guys just saw, that was kind of how it looked completed. And this is April. So for April, I decided to do a palm theme, and the reason I decided to do this theme was because I have a trip to Hawaii planned later this month, and I'm so excited about it, so I thought I would go ahead and just do that as a theme. So I wanted to do watercolor with this. I was a little bit nervous because I didn't know if the watercolor was going to go through this paper, because this is not like watercolor paper. So I did like a practice run on a scrap sheet of paper, and it was fine. But my biggest tip for you, if you're going to watercolor in a journal like this, is just use very little water. Not only because you don't want it to go through to the other side, but it will warp your paper if you use too much water. So you just have to use very minimal water and you should be fine. I did have a little bit of the paint go through, but I just had to be careful, just not use too much paint or too much water, and it was fine. So I love watercolor. You guys may have seen some watercolor work that I've done on my Instagram or on past videos. And my biggest tip for doing this, if you decide you want to try this spread as well, is to use a variety of greens. Don't just stick with the same green. You can add a little bit of blue in there even if you want, or yellow. If you really want to get creative, you could even add like a warm tone here and there, and it'll give it a really pretty look. But you want to kind of vary your tones in greens, and it's going to make it look so much better and less flat. So another tip, if you do want to try this as well, is to not worry too much about whether or not you're being too perfect with the watercolors, because we're actually going to go in with a black liner pen and we're going to outline everything, and it's going to make it look very much more like finished and done. So this is kind of just to like lay in color, but you don't have to worry too much about whether or not it's perfect and all of that kind of thing, because the liner pen is going to make a huge difference and it looks really, really good when it's all complete. So for the writing, I decided to line it with the actual paint, and then I did those like paint splatters behind it. I thought that looked really cool. I'm not sure if I love how the writing turned out on this spread. I mean, it was fine. I don't really care that much, but I think that I would have done it differently if I could like redo this spread, but it's not the worst. So I went ahead and did those paint lines behind Books Read and the You Rock section, and then I decided to go in with a little bit of paint for like the bullet points as well. I didn't do that in my March spread, and when I was editing it, I was like, man, I needed to do like bullet points or something. Like I felt like it was just missing something. So I was sure to do that this month. And then I did the little leaves in the corners as well, and I kept everything pretty simple, but like I said, I like kind of simplicity with these books. I just think it looks better, especially once you get all the writing on the pages. I feel like the writing adds a lot to these pages, so you don't want to make these spreads too busy because the writing looks very busy when it's complete. But one thing I love about like these journal spreads and stuff is seeing what they look like with the writing on it. So when like the month is finished, I think the writing just makes it look really cool and just completed, and I love it. It's very satisfying. I actually really love how the watercolor turned out with this spread, and I want to use watercolor in future spreads a lot more. I've always been a fan of watercolor art, and I've always loved to do it, and so I think that I want to incorporate this much more, maybe even make it kind of like a staple of my journal videos. Let me know if you guys would want that, or if you guys want to see kind of more marker ones. I know that not everyone likes watercolor or knows how to do it, so if you guys want me to do marker ones like I did last month, let me know. I just really love the watercolor. I think it's so pretty. So now you're seeing me erase some of the pencil marks. I didn't erase all of them, but I did want to get some of the pencil marks removed. But then I just went in with my little liner pencil. I'm going to put a list down below of all the different art supplies that I used. But this is just like a black liner pen, and I went around all of the leaves and things like that. As you can tell, it's already making such a huge difference with how it looks. It's just so satisfying. One of my favorite things is lining like things, because I just think it's so fun and it just looks so much better once it's lined. But I'm just lining everything, and I'm trying not to be too perfect with this either. I really like that kind of sketchy, messy look when it comes to, you know, this style, so that's kind of what I did. Didn't want to think too much about it. Plus I was kind of like shaky. I think I drank too much coffee or something. So while we're watching this, let me know in the comments below what themes that you guys would like to see. I have a few like ideas in mind. I was thinking about doing like a tattoo theme, a circus theme, a night court theme from A Court of Thorns and Roses, maybe a galaxy theme, a space theme. I have all sorts of different theme ideas, but I would love to hear some of your guys' ideas and your guys' like just ideas that you guys would want to see, or if you guys have gotten into journaling as well, maybe we could do one together, and I would love to see like your guys' version. I don't know. I think that this would be a really fun thing to kind of do as like a community, so we could all do like the same spread one month and see how everyone's turns out. I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool. So let me know in the comments below if you guys have any theme ideas. So this is where I started doing the writing and where I kind of was like unsure if I liked it. So what I did is I outlined the watercolor, and I don't hate it. I think it kind of looks cool, but I don't love it either. I ended up adding some like shadows behind it later in the video, and I kind of wish I would have just like left it without the shadows behind it. But yeah, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think of the lettering? I do like how I wrote mood tracker and everything, and I really like my mood tracker. It's a little bit hard for me to fill out if I'm being honest. Like I'm like, am I feeling really good today or sort of good today? Like, I don't know. It's a little hard to fill out, but I do like it. And it's just kind of a fun addition to the journal. And then my brain dump area, I put just like notes in there. Like I filled it out last month with some like sticker ideas that I had. So it's just kind of like ideas that I don't want to lose, because oftentimes if I just write my ideas on like a Post-it or something, I'll end up losing it and I have no clue where it is, and then I forget my ideas. So the brain dump area is really good for me because I don't lose it. So I decided to kind of messily outline those bullet points. I think that looks really good, and kind of continued to do my lettering. So one thing I want to do is take some courses on like calligraphy or like lettering. I feel like I'm really good at faking it, but I have like bad handwriting. Well, it's not the worst handwriting. I can have good handwriting when I really try to have good handwriting, but like usually I don't really care. And I feel like I'm pretty good at like faking it. But I would love to learn like real forms of calligraphy. I actually took a calligraphy course in high school, and I know how to do like the Old English calligraphy, but I want to learn how to do like script, like really nice cursive, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just something I suck at and need practice on. So this is where I started adding shadows to my main title, and I don't hate it, but I don't love it. The reason I actually decided to do that is because I'm going to write April on like the main cover page in like a black ink, and I felt like I needed something to kind of tie that together with the rest of the spread, like some thicker, darker lines. And so that's kind of why I decided to add the shadows. So it does kind of tie things together, but I'm not really sure if I like how it looks per se, but whatever, it's fine. Not that big of a deal. But this is where I decided to go in and write April with a black marker, and I thought it looked pretty cool. And then I just kind of started adding the details. So this is where I started getting watercolor happy, but I'm actually glad that I did because I like the way that it looks at the end. And this is a really good lesson is be creative and try new things. Like in my head, I was kind of like, is this a good idea? Adding like these boxes around every page? I don't know, it might look really stupid, but you're never gonna know unless you try it. So I was really happy with it and I thought it kind of tied all the pages together and I thought it looked really good. So I think if I do spreads in the future, I might kind of add those, you know, watercolor squares around each page. I just think it looked really cool and kind of split everything up, but at the same time tied everything together in a way. And I actually tied in these blank pages as well. As you guys saw in the March spread, I did a little sketch of a girl, and I do a lot of sketches on those pages, so I added the boxes on those too.